Hi, this is Daniela Wolf with Bestie Life, the podcast, and this is your community to support you through the little and not so little events that make up your day-to-day life. From the I've got this moments to the I just can't moments. We are here to empower all women to find and develop the skills they need to find peace, balance, and the bliss in their busy. Through solo episodes as well as interviews with amazing women who share their journey and their story and how it works for you. I hope you find the inspirations to make you laugh, think, as well as maybe rethink what you thought you knew, and connect as we realize that we are all living similar ups and downs and don't have to do it alone. So excited for you to hear this episode, and thanks so much for joining me today. So this is Daniela. I'm back today to do part 2 of finding more calm in your day. Last week, I talked about how to find more calm in the moment, and I shared some super actionable tips that you could take right then and there to help you find calm in that moment. Today, we're going to talk about finding calm in your mind. And like I said, this is part 2 of a 4-part series. The other 2 parts are finding more calm in your space, as well as finding more calm in your day-to-day life. So to find calm in your mind, you think about, we are in our heads every single day. And even if we don't actively feel anxious or feel stress, it is going to have an impact on us. It's going to impact how our physical health is, our mental health. And so we need to find ways to integrate that calm every single day. And it's some simple shifts, some simple things we can start doing, and tied then into finding calm in the moment. We're going to help you build those strategies to find that calm every day. So one of the first things we talk about is making time to meditate. And I know a lot of people, when you talk about meditation, they think it's a little too woo, not quite them. And, when I look at meditation, it doesn't have to be candles and chanting and om and all that kind of thing, even though I love that too. But it's even just taking a couple minutes without the noise, whether you're sitting in your car and just blocking out all the sound, taking a couple minutes to yourself, maybe just turning off all the TVs, the noise, the background music, all those things that kind of can come into our head, and just finding some quiet space, or just even taking a moment and notice our senses, that mindfulness practice of, what do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? And really grounding yourself in that present moment can help you find calm in your mind, because you're getting rid of all the chatter and the distractions and that type of thing. So finding a way, even like a 5-10 minute practice in the morning, at night, throughout your day, can really help you find that grounded centeredness that you're looking for. The next way is to focus on gratitude. Gratitude, when we have a lot of things happening in our life, a lot of challenges, obstacles, problems, it can be so easy to get that tunnel vision, and that's all we can see is what's going wrong, what's not going according to plan, all the problems and obstacles that are present. And so when we focus on gratitude, and they don't have to be huge things, because then we're saying the same things over and over again. I'm happy, grateful for my health, my family, my friends. I don't know if you did not catch, I did a podcast episode a little ways back. Go look in my podcast with Yafi Lavova, and she shared a great tip when it came to looking at gratitude from those simple moments, and really kind of look at not just the big things that we're grateful for every single day, but maybe it's that person that opened the door for you at the grocery store. Maybe it's the sun's out, or you hear the birds, a smell, that first sip of coffee in the morning, or just even taking a minute in your shower and being grateful for those kind of things can give you that, again, that perspective that you're looking for when it comes to all those problems that are happening, that there is still good. There are still things to be thankful for, and how to focus your attention on it. They say, I geek out on some of this stuff. I get a little excited talking about it. So they say, we have these neural pathways, and it's almost like trails in the wood. And the more we go down them, the more well-worn we become. And if we keep going down those negative paths over and over again, that's what's going to be our go-to, the easier path to follow, versus taking the time to look at the gratitude and see the good, put the spotlight there and get used to traveling that path and focusing on that. So take some time to practice some gratitude. Next is our internal judgments. We unfortunately can be our own worst critics. I like to call them the mean girls in your head, where, we talk so harshly to ourselves sometimes. We are our own worst critic, our own worst enemy, and we would never talk to a friend like that. We would never let a friend speak like that about themselves. And so we need to kind of look at the things we say about ourselves and how to change that conversation, how to look at the thoughts and patterns that we automatically go to and notice when they occur, because then that's how we're going to interrupt it. We're going to change the script. We're going to change the conversation. We're going to challenge those internal critics in that judgment. Why would you say that? You would say that to your friend, right? And say, why would you say that? And it's kind of leading into my next one, which is self-compassion, and kind of look at acknowledging those feelings, not necessarily accepting them, but being able to acknowledge and lean into it a little bit and say, okay, I'm feeling maybe self-defeated today. I'm feeling unappreciated. And instead of staying stuck there, being able to flip the conversation, to change the dialogue of but, and then add on to that. Like I might feel a little self-defeated, but I know I can work through it. Not measuring up against other people is also how we find self-compassion, because a lot of our criticisms might come from comparing ourselves to everybody else. Why is it always so hard for me? Why can other people make it look so much easier? Which isn't the case, but it's just how people make it look. Distancing yourself from then that negative self-talk and self-beliefs. So these all kind of tie into each other. Again, we're all in our minds all the time. We talk to ourselves more than anybody else. So you're like, well, how do I distance myself? I can't shut off that voice. I can't change the conversation. But you can maybe notice that you're judging yourself, and that's your cue to stop it. Sometimes if we say out loud what we're thinking, or we even write it down, it becomes a different voice, and that helps give us some space, as opposed to when it's in our head, it's our voice. That's what we hear. But if we heard it from a different voice, then it would be like we were talking to that friend, talking to that colleague, and we'd be like, wait a minute, no, that's just silly. That doesn't make sense. And you can then be able to reflect on it and have a different opinion about it if you're able to take that space as if it were with somebody else. The next one is setting routines. If you follow me at all, habits and routines are some of my favorite things when it comes to simplifying your day. And even though they can sound boring, they also help make things easy because of the fact that you don't have to think about it. There's this thing called decision fatigue, where we make too many decisions in a day. We only have so much capacity in our brain to handle it. And so if we try and take on too many decisions in a day, we're going to get fatigued and overwhelmed and not do well. So the more we can automate certain tasks, the more we can put some routines in place around them, the less decisions we have to make, which frees up space in our brain to do other things. They say Steve Jobs always wore a turtleneck and jeans so that he didn't have to think about what to wear. Sometimes people, they do have kind of it's just a similar outfit that they kind of put together because it's easy for them. You might have the same thing for breakfast every day because you don't have to think about it. Some of those things, that really aren't going to make or break your day will help make it so much easier by automating those decisions, giving yourself a break and putting some habits in place. And especially too with kids, having some habits and some consistency for them will also help make things flow easier. Kids, as much as they fight it sometimes initially, they like structure. They like having the comfort of knowing what's going to come next. And having those habits and routines in place is a great way to help them with that. Next has to do with putting things on paper, getting them off your mind, whether it's journaling when it comes to some of those thoughts and feelings we talked about before, or even just a to-do list. Being able to let it off your brain, take the pressure off of trying to remember things, is going to help find that calm so much easier in your mind. So writing to-do lists, using technology. It doesn't always have to be physically writing, even though, again, here's another one of my fun science facts that I love. When you write things, you actually help transfer information from short-term to long-term memory. And so sometimes writing it down not only helps ensure that you won't forget because it's written down, but it does also help you in the remembering process because you had to physically do something with the information as well. So again, another little fun science fact that I like to geek out on. But writing things on lists, speaking it into your notes and your phone is a great way as well. Because sometimes you think on the fly and you're like, oh, I'll get to that, I'll write that down later. And you get from point A to B and you can't even remember what you were thinking. So just take a quick second, Siri, take a note, and they will write down exactly what you were thinking, what you want to say, so you can keep track of all these things. Stickies, just even posting little stickies around are great reminders. I even use, when my kids were little, I would use dry erase markers on their mirror in the bathroom to keep track of what they had to do in the morning, so that it was kind of a fun way for them to see it. I could add pictures, little notes, things like that. So it creates a calm for you, for your family, again, to help that day have more moments of calm throughout. And last is exercise. It doesn't have to be a sweat session, doesn't have to be super intense, long, or anything like that. They say at least 10 minutes, just 10 minutes will help to start to release those endorphins and provide that sense of calm that you're looking for. So whether it's a 10-minute yoga, 10-minute walk outside, anything that's going to help you move is going to help you relieve that stress and find more calm in your day. So I hope these tips helped you. Please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what some of your favorite tips are to calm your mind. Like I said, if you didn't catch first session, part 1 of how to find calm in the moment, next week we're going to talk about finding calm in your space and how to create that sense of calm. Thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know any questions or comments that you have. Also, if you can please leave an Apple 5-star review so that this episode can be shared with more women. There's 2 quotes that I love. Alone we may be strong, but together we are stronger, as well as when women support each other, incredible things happen. So let's be stronger and incredible together, as well as maybe just have some fun along the way. Thanks so much and talk to you soon. Bye.